best movies of 2021, man. This is so fantastic. But I want to talk about your character, James. Now, James is a stand-up guy. Can you tell me about the backstory either you or Lee created for James?
Yeah. In terms of his friendship and relationship with Cecilia, they grew up knowing each other as kids, and it's just one of those good, healthy friendships. People grow, their lives go into different places, but their friendship remains, which keeps them close. We talked about the priorities for James. James being a good father, because he is a single father. That for him was paramount. Making sure that he's setting a good example for his daughter. That has to be there. And that was sort of built off of my relationship with my little sister, because, Lee would talk to me about where my points of inspiration came from. So, and as far as Cecilia, figuring out how to be there, how to be a safe space and sort of a real protector outside of the logistics of everything else, outside of him just being a cop and having to figure that out, outside of what else is going on with the mania of the Invisible Man. He just still had to be a safe space for us. So it was built on the principles of really just trying to be, a good, upstanding brother.
Now, where was James at before the movie began?
Before the movie began?
Like mindset-wise.
Mindset. For him, life was regular, average. He's going to work, doing his thing. He's got his daughter. Nothing is really out of the ordinary for him. I mean, as a cop, you can only imagine what that reality is like, but he's got a handle on that. Things really kind of hit when Cecilia drops the bomb on him about what she had been going through. And he didn't know.
Right.
He didn't realize this was how serious. And then you start seeing all these crazy things happen, and now his whole world does a complete 360. But for him, before that, it was, life was a good life, average life, decent.
Now let's talk about Storm Reid, because she's such a talented performer as well. What were some of the toughest scenes that you guys shared together?
See, some of the toughest scenes were I wouldn't even say that we had tough scenes, because we had such a great rapport and great camaraderie on set, and then we had a great crew. If anything, I would say the stunt scenes where, without giving spoilers, I have a particular stunty, actiony scene with the Invisible Man, as does she. So those were probably the most physically taxing, shooting that throughout the day, but they were fun though. They were just a lot of fun. So, but other than that, I honestly can't remember one tough day. This whole job seemed like one big vacation, honestly.
It's interesting that you talked about those stunt scenes, especially with the Invisible Man. Can you talk to me? Because it seemed like that could have been almost like on paper. As an actor, I can only imagine how that could have been like, wow, how are we going to do this with all this technology and all this green screen and all the blocking? Can you walk me through some of that stuff?
Yeah. Well, the first week I got down there, actually my first day on the lot on set was with the stunt team. And, we worked at it a couple weeks, and right before we shot the scene, we refreshed again. But they were basing it, they choreographed something, and they were basing it off of my comfort with my athletic ability, how I can move my body, throw my body. And then once they got comfortable with me and they knew, what I could do, they were like, all right, well, let's push the limit a little bit, because I'm fighting myself and throwing myself around. There are points where I'm taking hits and swinging, kicking, all that kind of stuff, but, trying to really, really sell it. So we worked on that and worked on the timing, the reactions to make it honest. But it was really a cool experience. It's just really trying to figure out how to really create this reality, for my character and for the audience.
Right. Now, have you heard any rumblings about any possible Invisible Woman sequel stuff happening?
I haven't heard any rumblings from up on high. I have heard interest from fans, and look, if there's a sequel, I think it would be cool. I have no idea what we're gonna do, if there was a sequel, but I've heard people wanting a sequel.
I
Do you want a sequel?
Yeah, of course. This is one of the best films I've seen this whole year. I absolutely want a sequel.
Look, man, if we hit a sequel, I'm with it, man. I'm all the way with it.
Perfect. Now, let's pretend that you were in charge of Universal and you had all these classic monster movies. Which one of your choice? Which one would you want to see be remade?
So outside of Invisible Man, because it's
Outside of the Invisible Man, yeah.
Outside of Invisible Man, I think my next top choice would be Dracula. Yeah, man. I've always had an affinity for vampires growing up, and I think there's a much more interesting way to tell his story that we haven't really delved into. So I think Dracula might be the spot.